This is the week 2 TPA podcast. It's good to be back. Missed last week, but I'm here, joined by Sully Stanky
Yes,
and
sir.
Marino Greco, TPA. Pleasure to be back. So, the Jets season just changed in 75 seconds. Aaron Rodgers goes down. 75 seconds. That's this whole season. Goes down and torn Achilles. Like that takes was like a 40-week recovery. Those it's tough to see, right? Because all the hype was built up. Like, is Aaron Rodgers, gonna do it on a new team? Is he gonna do it? Like, is it gonna be like worth it? Like, all this hype was built up just for him to go down, which is very unfortunate. But in that game, still beat the Buffalo Bills. Zach Wilson comes out, has a very mid performance, but still, um, Brees Hall, welcome back, Brees Hall. Hell of a game, and helped by that Jets defense, which is a huge improvement from last year. That Jets defense looks like one of, if not the best. Looks like, not saying yet, but looks like, if not the best defense in the league. Shutting down the Bills is, I mean, they went to overtime, but still beating the Bills is unreal.
No doubt.
With Zach Wilson as your leader. Um, how do you guys think the Jets season is going to go? Like, way too early predictions here. I mean, because we saw them beat the Bills now with Zach Wilson in there. How do we think the season's going to go?
Well, they have a murderer's row for a starting schedule. Next week they play the Cowboys. Really tough matchup. I mean, we just seen the other New York team get blown out bad, 40-0 by this Cowboys team. This Cowboys team looks like they could be for real. I mean, they say that every year, but both sides of the ball really, really big on the Cowboys. So next week, looking like a L, and for the foreseeable future, if they stick with Zach Wilson, I don't really see playoff hopes for this team, even with that incredible defense, even with all those weapons, Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson. I mean, it's just going to be so tough because Zach Wilson in this division, no doubt the worst quarterback. Uh, Even when they had Aaron Rodgers, it was a close competition with these quarterbacks in this division. So it's going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah. No, I think this team still definitely has its weapons, but it's just the weapons are going to have to do all the work. Because, I mean, Zach Wilson, like everybody's just betting on him to just learn how to be a quarterback in 3 months with Aaron Rodgers. Like they've just been like, oh, he's going to be good because he's spent this time with Aaron Rodgers. And like, he definitely like can help with the like anticipation throws and just like fundamentally like, but like Rodgers is a fundamental guy. Like he just has just that generational arm, So it's just there's only so much you can learn in that short amount of time. So I think they'll probably just miss out on the playoffs. I think they can maybe edge it, but I just think the AFC is just way too strong at this point.
And they run that Shanahan system too. So the goal for Zach Wilson is to not do too much, for him to have quick reads and get the ball out. But the way Zach Wilson played last year, he wants to be Patrick Mahomes really bad, or Aaron
Right.
Rodgers really bad. He's just off-platform throws. We've seen it firsthand in the Bills game. He ran 90 yards just to throw the ball out of bounds. I don't know if you guys seen that play, but it was almost ridiculous how he almost ran for a sack before throwing the ball out of bounds. It was pretty bad. So if Zach Wilson can show week to week that he's not doing too much and just doing enough for the Jets defense and their weapons to take over, maybe they can be decent, but they got some tough matchups coming up in the next few weeks. Um, some other injuries I just wanted to talk about because a big thing this week uh, coming after this Aaron Rodgers injuries is the turf at MetLife Field coming into question. The turf monster. Other players have complained about that. We've seen gruesome injuries on turf fields time and time again, with ACLs popping and Achilles popping. I believe the Breece Hall injury with his ACL was on a turf field as well. But J.K. Dobbins tore his Achilles in a really unfortunate injury. He was looking to have a pretty big game. He was coming on strong for the Ravens, but he's going to be out for the foreseeable future into next year. After recovering from an ACL too, it's so tough for
Yeah,
JK.
what sucks about that too? I mean, yeah, he just missed all of last season just to come back, just like not even halfway to the game, just season's gone just like that yet again, uh, and it sucks because like you don't know if like he's ever gonna come back from that. Like uh, he won't be the same player. Not saying he'll be bad, but like he's not gonna be himself. Like he had to rebuild himself up, right? Just to go down again, has to rebuild himself up. Um, just
Yeah.
if you're J.K. Dobbins, you're reflecting your season's over again. Do you go back and play football again? There's probably a lot of thoughts going through his mind right now. It's so tough, right? Because he has so much potential. Just to go down torn Achilles, very
That's the
very
game.
unfortunate.
That's the name of the game for running backs these days. That's why they want to get paid. It's completely understandable, but it really, really sucks.
Yeah.
Few other players with some injuries: Deontay Johnson pulled a hammy, Pat Fryermuth had a chest injury, and Cam Hayward. All these Steelers going to be out for the next few weeks. It's a tough, tough thing for the Steelers that were looking to have a big year. There was a lot of hype for them in the preseason. Uh, but after we've seen them against the 49ers, I don't know if that hype is going to be continuing for much longer. Um, Aaron Jones pulled his hammy in the Packers Bears game. Pretty unfortunate. Good thing that we have a good backup running back in AJ Dillon, but Aaron Jones definitely hoping that he doesn't miss too much time. He's a big explosive piece to the Packers offense that we've seen on Sunday. Jacoby Myers with a pretty bad concussion after a pretty big hit. Hoping that he's okay. That looks pretty scary seeing it on the field. And then Jalen Petrie with the bruised lung. Uh, Me and Marino really hype on him, a safety for the Texans. Really unfortunate. Hopefully he recovers okay. But uh, something that I wanted to bring up to ask you guys is there's been a lot of talk. Aaron Rodgers only played a short time in the preseason, and usually he doesn't play in the preseason at all. Do you guys think that a lot of these injuries are just by chance, or do you think not playing in the preseason has kind of opened these next few weeks up to teams kind of getting started?
Well, you could argue that, right? But preseason, especially like the starting quarterbacks or like starting players, you could say that, but there is, I mean, a lot of the starters, if they're not playing, like they don't need to play, right? Because they should be stretching, like they go through all this conditioning and everything at every single practice. Um, I don't personally think that the preseason like not playing is affecting it because they're still getting those reps in at practice. Um, what do you think, man?
I don't know. I think it's a little tough to say just because it's like you said, it just they would be getting those live reps at practice, but it's like if Rogers didn't feel like he I'm just using him as an example. Just felt like he didn't need to play in the preseason. He wouldn't have, you know. He just would have saved it for week one, but I think he just wanted to get a feel of how they would feel against actual competition. And I don't think that really played the factor into the game of chance that is just these injuries. Uh, I just think some of them are unfortunate, but it does seem like they are coming more and more it, by week, just a lot more frequent than they used to. So I I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but I think it's just, a lot of them are just luck, honestly.
Right. Football is just a dangerous game by nature, so you're just gonna have some of those injuries in the first
All
place.
this, all the starters, what they only play like what 1, 2 drives, a full quarter, right?
Right.
Like that's just how it's always been. So I don't know. I'm leaning towards the no in the preseason question, but I see what the argument. I see that argument, but I think I don't know.
Let's talk about some of the surprises from week one. Um, some teams that had really good records last year did not look too great. Uh, the Bills, for one, as we were just talking about, losing to the Jets in pretty spectacular fashion. Do you guys think there's something going on with Josh Allen? What's up with all these turnovers? He had 4 turnovers in total versus the Jets. And he had a high interception count last year. Marino, do you think there's something going on with Josh Allen, or are we overhyping it?
Well, honestly, they're running a different offense this year. They were running like a three receiver, one tight end, and now they're running two tight ends on the field and two receivers. And so they're expecting Gabe Davis to take this big step up, and Josh Allen's kind of playing hero ball with this uh, newer O line with some rookie, and like I think they also made another signing on the offensive line, and I think he just it's the confidence thing. I think that they didn't really do enough to address his weapons. I think Dalton Kincaid is an amazing weapon, and I think he is going to take over Dalton Schultz pretty easily this year. But I, I just think they should have did a little bit more for him at the receiver position because I just besides like one or two games in a season, like I don't see Gabe Davis like ever just taking that big step to be a solid number two receiver. You know?
Um, See, and like what I think too, that's a good point, Bruno. But also, like what could play a point into that too is they were most likely underestimating that defense of the Jets, and they're more focused on spoiling Aaron Rodgers' welcome party, um, and underestimating like what this new Jets defense that has been just rebuilt. Um, they're underestimating, and I see like Josh Allen. You know, he's confident, right? One of the best uh, quarterbacks in the league, right? Just got his Madden cover. Uh, just throwing up arm punts just to get picked. Uh, I don't know. I mean, what? Yeah, I like your points, and then also I also think it comes to underestimating that Jets defense because that they looked amazing that game.
I agree. Josh has supreme confidence, and sometimes it gets him in trouble. I mean, we see it all the time with his running. He puts his body in positions. I
Yep.
mean, he's a big guy, but sometimes he puts himself in some really stupid positions where he could get hurt. He's not really
Yeah,
thinking.
he was taking a lot of big hits this last game,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
yeah.
then you
He's
see
a
with
chance
Anthony
taker
Richardson.
just by
It's
nature. He just takes chances all the time, and he doesn't really have an off switch. So he needs to find that and find. I feel like Stephon Diggs got some action against the Jets, but he was also playing against Sauce Gardner, so maybe he'll get open more, and Josh Allen will be able to find him a little bit easier. But yeah, definitely some questions for this Bills team that I'm looking to get answered. Another team that has some questions, the Bengals, putting up 3 points
Mm,
against the Browns.
mm.
Gianni, what's going on with the Bengals, man?
I don't know, man. This was a rough watch. I didn't watch it live, but watching the highlights, it just I couldn't tell you. Like it's the Browns are a new team. Uh, Deshaun Watson finally, he's gonna have a full season uh, this this year, and I think just all the off season they probably just did a really well done job in the off season, just practicing, getting their reps and everything. Uh, and then it also comes down to just a lot of mistakes that Joe Burrow made. I mean, you look at his stats too, right? Uh, 52.2 QBR, right? Because 82 passing yards, 14 for 31. Uh, that I mean, it's just the Browns defense just ate them alive. Um, But you look at Deshaun Watson, right? He didn't have a great game, but he did enough. But you look at because he had 154 yards, touchdown, and a pick, 71% QBR. But Nick Chubb is a huge asset to that team, and just had a hell of a game. Um, that Browns defense is looking scary. We were just talking about the Jets defense, but the Browns defense did a lot for that game too. Um, Browns are a new team to me this year. They're blowing me away. Like that, I thought from the Browns team I saw last year. I thought this was gonna be a blowout Bengals game in Bengals' favor, but um, just sloppy play. The Bengals offensive line looks like shit too. That's always been a problem, but I mean this game, Browns defense just ate them alive.
It was a sloppy
Browns,
game too. It was a rain
yeah,
game, and just the way that the Browns are built in general. Strong run game, strong offensive line, and that strong defensive line. I felt like Browns were just destined to win that game. It was pretty hard to see any wide receivers of the Bengals getting open. I mean, T. Higgins, I think he had pretty close to like 10 yards. Not really great game for any of the Bengals wide receivers, but I agree completely, Gianni. I think this Browns team has a lot of potential this year for what they could do. Um, Moving on to the Vikings, losing by 1 point to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, Kirk Cousins, are you back? Captain Kirk, Captain Clutch, Captain Choke. Marino, what happened to the Vikings versus the Buccaneers, man?
he's him.
Uh, I just think the defense outgritted the Vikings offense, honestly. Because, I mean, when you look at the offensive stats of the Buccaneers, just like Baker Mayfield only had 173 passing yards for 2 touchdowns. Rashad White was the leading rusher with only 39 yards, up 17 carries. That's a terrible game. Terrible for my fantasy. Anyways, uh, uh, but I mean, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin uh, did a lot for Baker Mayfield, but my biggest takeaway is honestly, this team looks like it wants to win for Baker. And that's kind of like how it felt at the end of the Rams season when he was taking over and like he just had all the momentum behind him and just everybody just seemed to just love Baker. And I think they're giving him that same opportunity here. I think it's going to be a lot of gritty wins like this, but if they really believe that Baker can take us to that level, like, I mean, their division is not a good division. I think Baker can easily put up better stats than any of the rookie quarterback, and maybe not Derek Carr, but I think they can end up putting up more wins than them if
I
they
think it's
really
very
needed to.
possible that the Bucks could be on the same tier as the Saints. I mean, after
Yeah.
that, the way the defense performed, for sure, both of
Yeah,
those defense looked really good in Week 1.
Yeah. Baker 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 didn't have a bad performance. He did. I mean, he did enough, right? 97 QBR. Um, I think he's gonna have a decent year. The way things are looking this game, he has a good team around him. They seem to be really, in what's a good chemistry. I know last year good team too, but he seems a lot more confident.
Yeah, I would just watch out for the injury bug with this team because Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, pretty notorious for being injured, and same thing with a lot of their defensive guys. They've been getting younger, but they just had that veteran team from when Brady was there. So Rashad White too, I'd like to highlight him. He's going to be a pretty big guy for them this year. But
Yeah.
Gianni, your new hometown team, not your favorite team, not saying that, but your new hometown team pulling off the huge, huge loss to the Rams.
See, the Rams are everybody is expecting them to do not really good this year, but people forget the team they have, right? They have Cam Akers, Matthew Stafford, right? Uh, They it it's I think Seahawks kind of underestimated them too. Also, Geno Smith just didn't have a great game. Um, and the Rams defense kind of ate them alive
Yep.
on this game. Uh,
Aaron Donald.
and, said he's going to retire soon. He he shouldn't. I think he's
Not the
got
way
many
he's
years left in
blowing
him.
through these
Right.
offensive lines.
Yeah, and like a lot of decisions. Oh, we lost Marino. Hopefully he joins back. They lost a lot of I don't know. I forgot what I was saying, but regardless, Geno Smith doesn't look as comfortable as he did last year.
sorry,
Hopefully it's just a
technical
one-off thing,
difficulties.
but you're good. Hopefully it's a one-off game, but because Geno Smith, all the Seahawks fans are super like pro Geno Smith because he proved all the doubters wrong last year. Um, he didn't have that excellent season, but he did a lot better than what people were thinking. Like he made it to the Pro Bowl. Like that tells you what he did. Um, I think I don't think this game hurts what this season's going to look like for the Seahawks, um, because their team is stacked. Um, Kenneth Walker, right? I'm gonna botch his name completely, but Charbonnet. Char-
Zach Charbonnet.
yeah,
That's
Charbonnet.
our boy.
I
Used to
I
play
watched a
private.
lot of I've watched a lot of his film in the past couple weeks. Uh, because I'm a part-time Seahawks fan. That's a part-time Seahawks fan, and I like to uh, get into these
Part time.
players. Uh, part-time, yeah, like he can be a huge asset to this team. Um, Kenneth Walker, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Kenneth Walker is gonna finish top 3 in rushing yards this year. Um,
Didn't have a
he
strong
did
start.
he like I said, he didn't have a strong start, but one, it's the Rams who are very underestimated for the whole season. Everybody's talking down like they're not going to make the playoffs. Um, But one, it's the Rams. Two, it's a divisional game. Divisional games always tend to, be very unpredictable, like all around the league. I, I still have lots of hopes for Kenneth Walker. He's very talented. I'm kind of going off the rails with the game, but
Yeah,
I
I just
think
wanted to highlight Puka Nacua for the Rams, undrafted guy. Uh, I heard a lot about him coming out. He proved it this week. Boy, did he prove it. Now he's getting picked up on the waiver wire in a bunch of fantasy leagues. I love to see it. Shout out to Puka. And I mean, the Rams, like you said, they just were underestimated. They have 46 rookies on the team. You hear Stafford talking about how all of the players are on his phone, on their phones. He can't connect with them. And then they go out and they have huge performance. They're veterans, play to their usual standards. Great game for the Rams overall. Really, really interesting to see what that young team around Matthew Stafford can do. Um, Kyron Williams too. Kyron Williams looked great against the Seahawks defense. Seahawks D line not pushovers either. But next up, we picked all of the games last week. We were all confident that we were gonna pick every game right, of course. But there only can be one winner. Marino coming in at 11-4. Winner
Yeah.
of our picks last week.
It would be 11 and
Congratulations.
5, but
We're
we'll
gonna
see.
try to accumulate all of our picks up at the end of the year and see who wins.
tell you what was yours?
I came in at 9-6.
I came in at 7-8. That tells you how fucking unpredictable this season's gonna be.
Not for
I don't.
Marino.
I no. Listen. I don't think Marino season's gonna be sunshine and rainbows. You predict a lot of upsets to happen. Good for you. This is gonna be if we're doing predictions, this is gonna be a tough season to predict. I am
Yeah, we'll actually
negative.
tally them this year.
Like I
But
the
here's the thing: is I'm
I'm
like
pissed.
really in depth with how the off season goes.
We'll see how the season plays out, but I think this is going to be a very tough season to predict. Um,
Oh no, I remember
just
what I was
going
gonna say.
in, go for
I
it.
was gonna say I'm like really in depth with how the off season goes, and just like all the
Mhm.
draft, I try to be all into that. So I know a little bit more of the matchups than, or at least I try to. So, but we'll see how the season goes.
Smarter
But
than the average bear.
yeah,
We'll put that knowledge to the test again this week.
I have
yeah.
one. I
So,
have
see if
one
I can keep
question
the streak up.
before we go into next week. I have one question.
No.
The Cowboys legit beating
I
the Giants 40-0. Um, this is the best. Right now, this Cowboys team looks the best I've seen in quite some time. Um, if they keep this up, they are no doubt coming out of the NFC.
I have to agree that they looked absolutely like world beaters against the Giants. But like you said, Gianni, division games can be deceiving. I remember last year against the Vikings, the Cowboys also looked like world beaters. And we all knew that the Vikings were pretenders. And
Yep.
we figured
Yep.
out that the Cowboys were also pretenders. It's tough when you can't even win your division. I know that the Eagles are the best team in the NFC, obviously, last year. But if the Cowboys are that team, Dak's got to prove it, not turn the ball over. That defense is already one of the best, if not top three in the NFL. Their secondary got better. in the offseason. Stephon Gilmore is there now,
Yeah, given Traylon Diggs that 1-2 punch that he really needed.
right? They have athletic linebackers that are interesting. Micah Parsons looks like a defensive player of the year
Yeah,
candidate.
Mozzie Smith up
So
front too.
Dak,
He's
yep,
up.
exactly. Mozzie Smith is going
Yeah,
to be
uh,
huge.
athletic defensive tackle.
Big guy in the middle. If
Najee
Dak
Smith.
doesn't quit playing, Trey Lance is going to come in and take him to the Super Bowl. Quit playing.
Oh my god. Let's move on. Let's move on. Are we ready to get some predictions?
Go ahead,
Are you
Gianni. You
ready?
start off.
All right. Thursday night football. Uh, Tomorrow night. This will probably be uploaded tomorrow. So tonight we have the Vikings versus the Eagles. Uh, Before I start, I'm kind of thinking this on the fly. I think with our predictions, uh, at the end of our predictions, we have to have one lock, and that one lock nobody can duplicate.
Okay.
So that one lock, if you predict it right, you get let's just say 4 extra points to the record. If you were to get it wrong, though, you lose 4 points on your record.
Bro's trying to just make up his record. He's
I like the
Okay.
locks. We'll figure out what to do with them. But
Yeah.
Okay.
go ahead, Johnny. What's your lock? Or
I, I,
what's your predictions?
So Vikings and Eagles. Um, I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I feel like this team, they had a bad week last week, but I feel like they're gonna get some wins. I think they're finish off positive, um, and I feel like they're gonna beat the Vikings this week. Sorry, they're gonna beat the Eagles.
Yeah. I'm going with the Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Pretty,
go with the Eagles too.
pretty,
I think
pretty
that
easily.
that that Eagles defense against that Vikings offensive line is not gonna be a good matchup, especially
Yeah,
their
they're
D
down their
line.
center too. The
Yep.
Vikings are down their center.
Yeah. And I don't think that the Vikings defense is going to have much to say for the Eagles,
Mhm.
especially with Jalen Hurts being able to run. Yeah, I honestly think this might be a blowout.
We'll see what happens. All right. So in Atlanta, we have the Green Bay Packers visiting the Falcons. I am going to go. Oops. I'm going to go with the Falcons. Falcons.
Hmm.
They look like they're going to be. They're really underrated, and I feel like they're going to do very well. Packers are still figuring things out. Um, they had the win last week, but I still feel like they're still figuring things out. Team, that Aaron Rodgers-less team. Um, Falcons, they can be very scary. I feel like they're going to upset the Packers here.
Marino, I'm going to let you go first on this one.
Okay. I'm also gonna go the Falcons. Unfortunately, there's a few reasons why we had a bottom seven run defense last year. Uh, we had one of the worst safety duos, and we did nothing to address that after losing Adrian Amos. Uh, and Quay Walker is going to be out with a concussion most likely, and that loses a lot of our athleticism in the middle of the field. So I think Bijan and Tyler Algier are going to 100 yards each, and we're going to look like buffoons on defense.
I think Quay Walker, like you said, is going to be a really big part of this game, whether he's healthy or not. But I kept a close eye on the Packers D line last week. Kenny Clark was looking very good. Rashawn Gary in limited snaps looked very good. And Luke Van Ness, I was hype on him
Looking amazing.
affecting the run game. I think he's going to
Yeah.
be a very big factor in this game as well. I'm going to go Packers. I mean, 38 points last week. I don't think this Falcons defense is ready for what Jordan Love's got to put out there, so I'm going
Mm.
Packers.
Yeah, trust me, I want the Packers to win. Don't get me
Yeah, me
wrong,
too.
but I can't always. I can't. Otherwise, I'd be 17-0. You know.
No, I agree.
In Houston, we have the Colts visiting the Texans. You have two rookie quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, it's
This
Stroud
could go.
versus Richardson.
I'm gonna go with the Colts. Uh, Colts just look like they're the better team, and I feel like they're gonna prove it here.
First off, because they're kind of deciding.
I'm ruling Texans, even without
Mm.
Jalen Petrie. I think
Mm.
that Colts offensive line is going to have their hands full. The Texans defense is better than you think. Um, and I think CJ Stroud's going to try to have himself a game. He's got weapons. We're just going to have to see if they can utilize him. I think Anthony Richardson is a big quarterback. He's going to be rushing quite a bit, but I think the Texans are going to be able to pull it out.
Mm.
I think I'm gonna go with the Colts. It's it just I like the Colts just more like of their team is more complete. Like their offensive line is complete. They have a more complete receiver core. I mean, Jelani Woods is I think he's hurt, which is unfortunate. I'm not 100% sure, but and I mean without Jonathan Taylor, but I think their defense and just their offensive line can be able to outgrit this game. I think it's gonna be a really close, low scoring game. Uh, I think the Colts may win by 2 points.
In Detroit, the Seahawks are visiting the Lions. This can go either way.
We got part time.
I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. Seahawks, like I said, they're a very like lethal team. Um, and I'm, I'm rooting for the Lions to do really good this year and like hopefully make the playoffs. Even though they're in the division, I'm rooting for the Lions. But I just feel like the Seahawks are just better.
I disagree. I
Mm.
think that with the injuries on the Seahawks offensive line with Charles Cross going down, and I think that Lions D is hungry. You've seen against the Chiefs, they were pushing their guys back. Yeah, the the
Jawan
Chiefs
Taylor.
tackle was so scared of getting Jawan
Jawan
Taylor. He
Taylor.
was so scared of getting off early against Aiden Hutchinson. It was so obvious to everyone but the refs that he was false starting. But I got the Lions.
Yeah, no, I think I also got the Lions. It's just that D line is fucking insane. They're just getting crazy pressure, and they just really have just that dog this year.
Tennessee Chargers are visiting the Titans. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. No explanation why. I
This
think the
is gonna be
Chargers
a
are the better
close
team.
game. This is gonna be a close game.
Yeah, for
These are
sure.
similar teams, but uh, due to the absolute horrific performance from Ryan Tannehill last week, I'm gonna go Chargers. I mean, talent's got to shine through at some point.
Yeah, I like what the Titans are doing with they got like Tajay Spears. They're kind of doing a dual back field, but like that just seems like the only thing they got going on their offense. And I got Chargers.
Dang, that's a lock.
Yeah,
That's a lock.
that's TPA lot.
Uh,
That's a TPA lock. Let's
TPA one.
go.
Uh, Buffalo. The Raiders are paying a visit to the Bills. Uh, Blowout. Bills win.
Yeah, I have the same. I really don't believe in this Raiders team very much, especially after Jacoby and Jimmy G going down with injuries. It's just really tough.
Yeah, I mean that I think it's Aiden O'Connell. Is that rookie quarterback? He looked pretty good during the preseason, but I just the talent is just way too much on the Bills on this one. Bills TPA lock.
PA lock. There you go.
Jacksonville. The Chiefs are paying a visit to the Jaguars. I am going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I'm not sure what Andy Reid's record coming off a loss is, but I'm assuming it's pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Jaguars also very, very, very close game with the Colts, and I do not think the Colts are going to be a great team this year, so I'm looking at Chiefs dub.
Fair.
Yeah, Chiefs are gonna have Chris Jones and Travis Kelsey back. Uh, I like the dual back system that they got with Tank and ETN, but yeah, with Chris Jones there, no, Tank isn't gonna do anything next week. I got the Chiefs.
In Cincinnati, we got the Ravens paying a visit to the Bengals. Let's prepare for a TikTok video made by creator We Hoopin. Bengals, what happened? Bang,
Uh-oh.
give me the Ravens.
I personally know that this game is going to be close and it's going to be a low scoring game,
Mm-hmm.
but I just have a feeling that Joe Burrow and the Bengals are going to have a bounce back game after that
Mm-hmm.
rain game last week. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Ravens always give them a tough fight, but I got Bengals. Joe Burrow coming back big.
Uh, okay. I am gonna go Bengals here as well. It's gonna be a close game, I think. Uh, I just, I don't know. I just don't think I can't see the Bengals just going 0-2, especially losing such an ugly game and just going 0-2 to a division rivals.
And even with that kind of blowout game against the Texans last week, the Ravens didn't really look that good either.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right, in Tampa Bay, we have the Chicago Bears paying a visit to the Buccaneers. I am going to go with the Buccaneers. Reason being, the Bears look like shit, and I don't think they're gonna get past the Buccaneers. The defense, they have a really good defense, and that Buccaneers offense has the potential to be great. So,
You would think that I would agree, but I'm going Bears. I just
mm,
think that Justin Fields is going to run all over him.
I'm gonna go Buccaneers. I think it's gonna be an ugly win. I think Justin Fields is gonna have a good game, but I think it's just like they'll end up getting like a strip sack or something or like just like some kind of defensive touchdown, and it'll end up making it close, and they'll end up just gritting out a win.
I wonder if that's actually going to happen. We have to clip that. Next, we got the 49ers and the Rams. I'm going to go with the 49ers. So they looked really good last week, and they're going to do no different.
Yeah, the 49ers, when they play the Rams, it seems like Kyle Shanahan just has to teach his old buddy what's what. I'm going 49ers too.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go 49ers. Yeah, I think the Rams looked really good, and I think they'll actually be NFC contenders this year. But yeah, the first game of a division, we got to go the 49ers.
Whoa! You're going with Josh Dobbs. Okay. I'm gonna go Giants. I'm going Giants.
I mean,
When,
week two last year, I did predict the Colts to beat the Chiefs. So, I
yeah.
mean, this is not that, but I will say things have happened on week two. I'm going Giants. I think it'll be like the Cardinals only put up like 10 points. Like, hopefully KT has like 3 sacks this game.
Yeah, that's what I think it's gonna be. I don't
Yeah.
trust the Cardinals offensive line. I was kind of surprised that they
Yeah, I
did
don't trust
pretty
that
good.
team that's like actually trying to lose.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about you, Marino, but I think this might be a TPA lock for me.
I
I
could see it happening, bro. I can, but I'm gonna go Cowboys, but
yeah,
I won't
I
be
think we all got
surprised. I
Cowboys
won't be
here.
surprised, bro. I'm just saying.
Cowboys do have some gene that they just love to choke. They just have the choke gene, so
Yeah, them taking out both New York teams to me kind of seems far fetched, but I'm still gonna go Cowboys.
uh I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one. The Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen combo on that defensive line is insane. Montez Sweat looked insane. Commanders defense is probably just gonna eat Russell Wilson alive. I'm going Commanders.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be the sneaky one on that. I'm gonna go Commanders as well. Yeah, I like Sam Howell. He didn't have the best game, especially with the strip sack for the touchdown. That was just kind of an unfortunate play. I think the Commanders do have a lot of momentum this season, to be honest.
Not a big Broncos guy.
Yeah, I hope Judy will be back though. I'm not.
Yeah, did Tyreek Hill did just put up 44 points on my fantasy team last week, so kind of
I don't
kind of
know.
tough. Kind of tough not to say
It's kind of
Dolphins.
it's looking a lot like you are going two opposites with me and Gianni. You might end up going negative next again next week, or you might be positive and we just me and Sully look stupid.
Yeah, I'm going Saints too. I liked how they looked against Tennessee. I thought Tennessee was gonna put up a pretty good fight against them, and they did. They just couldn't score any touchdowns. But Derek Carr looked pretty good. I'm gonna go Saints. You know you
I
want to
want
say
to go
it.
Panthers, bro.
You want
I
to
want to
say
go
it.
Panthers.
Say it.
If I'm gonna say Panthers, fuck it.
Oh,
I'm gonna do it.
Cam
I,
Jordan just heard that. Cam Jordan just woke up from a nap.
I just I was very disappointed with Bryce Young, by the way, because I was gassing up his middle of the field throwing, and he threw two interceptions right in the middle of the field, right to Jesse Bates' hands, bro.
So you're
But
doubling down.
I'm doubling down, bro.
I'm
Fucking,
doubling down on Bryce Young. Let's go.
yeah. I don't think it's gonna happen again, bro. I think this is his redemption, bro. He looked really bad last game, but he's gonna lock in.
It's not. It's not. It's not.
So it was
I
just gassing
know.
up the Browns, bro.
I know that I was just gassing up the Browns, and I know that we just named all the Steelers players that just got injured last week, but I don't care. I don't care. No, no. I was high on Kenny Pickett all offseason. I like the
Yeah.
Saints or the Steelers team. It's just last week they had a very tough matchup. I mean, the 49ers are one of the best teams in the league. And they're facing a division opponent who has a very similarly built team to them. I'm going Steelers.
I think I'm also gonna go Steelers, bro. I almost wanted to go. I almost wanted to go Browns, bro. I just like something about the Browns starting off 2-0
It doesn't
in
sound right.
2023, bro. It just does not feel like the NFL, bro.
You know this division too. This division is too close for us to say, "Oh yeah, the Browns played really good last week." We're just gonna say, "Yeah, they'll beat the Steelers."
Yeah, and here's the thing: it's like I didn't really get to weigh in on the Bengals game. I just felt like the Browns have kind of just been like looking at that game like all off season, like we're gonna kill the Bengals week one, fuck the Bengals, and
Battle
like the
for
Bengals are just
Ohio.
looking at like the season as a whole, like let's go, woo, and then they just overlooked the Browns. I think so. I don't think I think Browns are gonna come to have a nice come to earth the game right here.
I like it. I'm gonna say my lock is Commanders versus Denver. Wow. Wow. Versus the NFC Super Bowl representatives from last year. The team that got bounced by the Giants. Huh? There it is. I laughed. I laughed now. Ah, ha ha. There it is. You got it. You got what you wanted.